Welcome to Travel Dress Code. Let's look the part. Welcome back, my Disney-bounding friends, to our final episode of the first series of Travel Dress Code, the basic building blocks. We have taken you on a long journey through all of the fundamental steps of the standard male Disney bound, starting with the head and finally arriving at the toe. And this episode, just like all others, is committed to giving you the best possible advice for your travel wardrobe, helping you to up your game on your daily wardrobe. And of course, providing you a bit of inspiration through our own Disney bounding outfit example. And if you've watched the entire journey, you may be ready to run down Main Street, USA, sprint around Frontierland, leap over Space Mountain, proudly showing off your wardrobe creativity, your vacation spirit, and exceptional style. But remember, that entire outfit can only be possible if you have a firm foundation from which to make that proud dash. So today, we discuss that outfit foundation by orienting our discussion on the amazing shoe. But before we can really talk about the shoe, we must talk about the foot. And believe me, this will be brief because I don't really want to talk about the foot.
Pretty messed up, huh?
The hideousness of that foot will haunt my dreams forever.
Oh yeah, I've heard that before.
We just need to point out that on a Disney vacation, you will be on your feet a lot. The average daily distance you cover on your feet on a Disney vacation is from 9 to 12 miles. That's just the time you spend moving. If you count the amount of time you spend standing in line, or on transportation, or watching a show or a parade, no, the results are a truly terrifying beatdown for the poor little foot. And if that's not enough to scare you, then the rubbing of a shoe in the wrong place can cause a number of hot spots, blisters, rawness, soreness, and overall discomfort on any surface of the foot. With these realities, you can actually ruin your entire vacation on day one if you don't pay attention to the needs of your feet. So when it comes to Disney bounding, we're going to approach the shoe in an entirely different way than we have for all other articles of clothing, and follow this advice. The first thing I'd like to say about Disney bounding your shoes is don't do the shoes. Don't worry about trying to find the right style, the right color, the right pattern, the right anything. Just don't. Shoes tend to be at least double, triple, or quadruple the price of a new shirt, pair of shorts, and just about everything else we've talked about on this channel. They're heavy, so trying to bring multiple pairs to cover multiple outfits across the span of a vacation can really add up, especially with baggage fees if you're flying on your vacation. And finally, more than any other piece of attire, you need these shoes to fit the needs of your feet perfectly if you're going to make it through your entire vacation. So my best advice, eliminate the shoe from your Disney bounding outfit planning considerations and march forward with an incredible outfit on feet that will comfortably carry you the entire way. If, however, you've made it to this point in the series and you're thinking, hey, wait a minute, I want to Disney bound my shoe, and you just have to absolutely make the shoe part of your outfit, then your next option should be to pick a comfortable, athletic shoe for your vacation. Something that you have an opportunity to break in for a few weeks prior to your vacation. If you're looking for an affordable option, I recommend the discount stores, who tend to have a ton of shoe options, oftentimes in a variety of bold colors that would work extremely well for character color schemes. If you have a foot that falls outside the most common sizes, you really may be able to score a great deal at one of these places, because they tend to have lots of shoes in size 12 or above or 6 or smaller, It's that middle section that they tend to lack. But discount shoe stores, such as DSW, Rack Room, etc., they also have some affordable shoes and are more likely to have those most common sizes. I do warn against the temptation to look for the Converse or Vans style shoe that oftentimes come in nearly every imaginable color or pattern. These may sound like an absolute goldmine for your Disney-bounding inspiration, but these are very flat shoes and are not going to set you up for success on the vacation that typically involves all of that walking and standing every day. But if you do not feel like an athletic shoe will up your game as it pertains to your daily wardrobe, then you can move on to a fashion sneaker or a more smart casual, resort casual shoe. But keep in mind, these shoes are often designed for style, not comfort. So if you go this route, I'd recommend adding some additional insoles to the shoes to absorb all of those extra steps you're going to be taking on your vacation. And while I'm not a doctor, nor am I going to dispense actual orthopedic advice, I've always liked the way the comedian Mitch Hedberg looked at the topic.
Dr. Scholl makes foot products, and he's a doctor, which means he went to school for a long time, but it doesn't take a lot to figure out that stepping on a cushion will be more comfortable. Because I would have bought that from a Mr. Scholl.
And while this show is typically not a product review show, I will say that I've not had success with the Dr. Scholl's gel inserts because they tend to bunch up inside my shoe. But the plantar fasciitis inserts have done a great job of absorbing all of that shock from all of those steps while remaining in place throughout the day. Finally, if none of these options work for you and you want to feel classy and distinguished, much like the way we've talked about on this show and the way those original visitors to Disneyland back in the mid-50s looked, you can always shop for a golf-style shoe or a dressier shoe that markets itself as a comfortable shoe. Skechers, Rockport, Johnston & Murphy, and Cole Haan all market themselves as prioritizing both comfort and style. I have frequently gravitated to the Skechers route inside the parks because I'm fine with a less dressier shoe and because the price point is something that I'm much more comfortable with. But if you're comfortable with a heavier price point, well then there's plenty of options out there for you. So to recap, as it follows: don't Disney-bound the shoe. If you must, then choose an athletic shoe for the parks. If you go with a fashion sneaker, increase the padding and support. Or finally, pick a brand that designs fancy shoes with comfort in mind. And one final point of discussion on the shoes. You're going to want to bring at least 2 pair. At Walt Disney World in Florida, it rains frequently, and you will need to plan as such, as one pair may be drying out while you're wearing the other. But for both US parks, you want to switch up where your shoes rub on your feet from day to day, so bringing 2 pairs is still the way to go. So now on to this episode's Disney-bounding inspiration. Because we're talking about the shoes, I actually let the purpose of the attire guide the character instead of exclusively starting with the character inspiration in mind. I thought of a number of characters that might be a great example of picking out comfortable and functional shoes, from characters defined by running, casual styles, or even defined by their shoes. But in the end, I picked a different kind of character who doesn't have feet, but does have a way to get around that is entirely based on function and performance, and not at all based on style, looks, colors, or being fancy. So in this episode, we're choosing the innocently lovable robot WALL-E from the animated film of the same name. And after all, who couldn't love WALL-E, or Molly, or however you say it? His dark-colored tracks do nothing to add to his overall looks. They exist to provide him that firm foundation so he can move over a wide variety of terrains, inclines, declines, and obstacles. You know, just like you're going to do. Perhaps. With this character inspiration in mind, I began to hunt for the right shoe. I do have some athletic shoes in a dark color, so if I had followed my first bit of advice and ignored the shoe area, I could have absolutely gone with what I already have. However, these shoes were starting to get worn out, and this episode provided me an opportunity to replace my aging shoe with a shoe that I knew could serve a purpose both in the park and outside the park. I wanted to find something with a good tread that served both the character inspiration function and shoe performance. There were some excellent contenders early on, and some really out there shoes that came up in both internet and in-store searches. But I ultimately found a shoe in my size that was going to be perfect for daily use, and actually had several hints to Wally's overall color scheme. And now that I had the shoe, it was time to build the remainder of the outfit. Fortunately, I already had a yellow and gray shirt and some yellow shorts that would work well. I finished off the outfit with some yellow and black socks from a discount store. Because Wally has a very specific shape to his eyes, I also wanted to find some aviator-style sunglasses. While I would love to get the real thing, I instead searched at the discount stores and ultimately found a very cheap knockoff version at a dollar store. And how did it turn out? Let's check it out. Here it is. Yes, from the top down, the yellow and gray color combination matched Wally pretty well, especially some of the Wally art that was on display at Epcot. So with my outfit complete, I could journey to the land of the future, but certainly a much more inspirational future than Wally experienced. And Epcot could satisfy all of my curiosity, just like the inquisitive robot character. But it wasn't nearly as hard for me to find plant life. I could even find plants that looked like they may be able to grow in space. Not only that, I got a chance to journey to space to enjoy some of the best cuisine available 220 miles above the Earth. More important than all of that, I was carried there on great shoes meant for comfort and performance. So I could actually enjoy my vacation without having to think about my aching feet all day. Now that's something to celebrate. Well, ladies and gentlemen, and all of you travel dress code superfans, this completes our building block series. I hope you had a great time. I certainly had a lot of fun building these outfits and sharing them with you. I have many more ideas I could share, so I'd like to do another series, but first, let's check in with our officially unaware celebrity spokesman, Mr. John Stamos, and see what he has to say. John, do you think we'll still be making these episodes in the future? Will we have the opportunity to share all of our great ideas?
Let's do a second season, so I thank the fans for that.
Thank you, John Stamos. Well, folks, you heard it here. We'll be back in a few weeks to kick off our Beyond the Basics series, where we'll bring you more ideas and more fun. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know the moment we begin our next series. And make sure you start planning a Disney vacation today by contacting our sponsor at Dapper Travels, a veteran-owned travel agency specializing in Disney vacations, and they know how to travel in style. And make sure you let us know where this image appears at the resort and get your shout out in the first episode of our next series. And if you really want to up your Disneybounding game, then make sure you check out some of our other episodes here. Thank you for joining us again, where we continue our work to make you the beautiful people in the brochure.